Namaste. First of all, I would like to thank Avahan for giving me opportunity to talk on this controversial topic, or many of political parties consider this topic, the topic of Indian National Army and the topic of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. It's very controversial topic. Let it be. So, I would like to thank Avahan, and basically I divide my talk into three parts. Subhash Chandra Bose life, early life up to 1939, his life from 1939 to 1945, where he alleged that he died in 1945 in Taiwan, Taipei. But I would like to add my opinion also that his life after 1945. Yes, you might be get shocked by listening that his life after 1945, but as far as my research and my readings are concerned, he was alive after 1945 and he was in India. So let's talk about it. First of all, let us consider who gave us freedom. He was Gandhi or he was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. If we ask any British or any British officer that time, he will definitely say, if he was not contact in Congress party or the Congress leadership that time, he will definitely say that we gave India freedom because of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, not because of Nehru and Gandhi. Clement Attlee, the English Prime Minister, British Prime Minister, at the time of transfer of power 1947, some of us may call 15 August 1947 as independence of India or the Independence Day of India, but I call it transfer of power because it was documented as a transfer of power, not as a independence of India. So when he came, when he visited India after the transfer of power in 1951 or in 1952 something, his statement in the Calcutta Press Bureau that the independence of India or the transfer of power of India has nothing to do with Gandhi non-violent protest or non-violent movement. It was because of Bose we were unable to take our hold on the country forward. That's why we left the country, because for the ruling on the country they need army, they need navy, or because of Bose, army and navy both were stood against the British rule. You may know that the revolt of navy in Mumbai 1946, because after that revolt only British showed their interest to leave the country. Subhash Bose was born on 23rd January 1897. So he was son of a well-known lawyer in the Cuttack city, Odisha. That time in Bengal region, now it's different state. So he was a son of very known lawyer there, Janakinath Bose, well known as Janaki Babu that time. So I will call Subhash Chandra Bose as Subhash Babu from now. So Subhash Babu studied in Presidency College, then graduated from Christian College in Kolkata, and after that he went to Cambridge for studying ICS, Indian Civil Service. He was a selected Indian Civil Service aspirant, but after that he left the Indian Civil Service and joined the Indian freedom struggle, because his opinion was like that if he was in Indian civil service, then he would be not free for doing his own things. That's why he left Indian civil service and joined Indian National Congress that time. So he was advised by Gandhi to work under Chittaranjan Das, another Congress leader. Chittaranjan Das was one of them who separated from Indian National Congress with Motilal Nehru and founded the Swaraj Party. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was one of them who separated from Indian National Congress that time. And after that, Subhash Chandra Bose for some time he edited the Swaraj magazine for Swaraj Party also. So after that movement, in 1928, Subhash, up to 1928, Subhash became a leader of the youth of the Bengal, or the, we can say, whole country that time. So Subhash Chandra Bose was the leader of Indian youth, and that time Congress divided in 1928. Congress divided into two parts, where we can say one was the part who were constantly saying that we must ask freedom, we must ask for our freedom without any compromise, full freedom. And the another part was Gandhi, in the leadership of Gandhi, which was saying that just they want dominant status to the India under the British rule. They do not want full freedom. So there he disputed with Congress first time. So after that he was involved in many violent activities in Bengal and arrested several times. He was sent to the Burma, the jail of Mandale, which was considered as the second most dangerous jail under British rule. First was the cellular jail, Andaman and Nicobar, and second was this Mandale. So there were many few Indians who sent to Mandale, just like Lokmanya Tilak and afterwards Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. So he was sent to Mandale. After coming back from Mandale, he became the Chief Executive Officer of the Calcutta Municipal Corporation, where Chittaranjan Das was mayor. He worked there for some time. After that, again he arrested, and then he became the mayor of Calcutta city by taking part in elections from the jail. He was in jail when elections was held on, and he became mayor. After becoming mayor, he became free from the jail, and then when he came back to his home, he was again arrested and again sent into jail by some other activities, because he was involved in several violent activities in Calcutta or in Bengal region, we can say. In 1939, he became the president, Indian National Congress president. There, that time World War II was started, and the Gandhi and Nehru was saying that Indians must take part in British Indian Army and give their blood for British, so that British will be very grateful and they'll leave our country, or they will provide us freedom. But that time Subhash Chandra Bose was constantly in their view, or in his opinion, that Indians should not take part in British Indian Army, or British Indian Army should take against the British rule, and this is the time for us to counter the British rule. But the Gandhi and Nehru was not accepted by his views, so he left Congress in 1939. So this is the first part. In second part, from his life from 1939 to 1945, after resigning from the presidency of Indian National Congress, he went Bengal, and there he started the Forward Bloc, All India Forward Bloc, another party. Or then he started working against Congress there. He was sent to the house arrest by the British rule, because he was involved in some violent activities there, and he escaped in disguise from his house arrest, and he escapes in disguise from his house arrest by putting his own nephew in the place of him in his own room. He left India that time after leaving his house arrest, or after living in disguise in his house arrest. He left India and went to Afghanistan, Kabul, from Peshawar, Kabul, and then he went to Moscow, and from Moscow to Germany. In Germany, he met Adolf Hitler, the Nazi leader Adolf Hitler, and he asked Hitler for the help against British rule. So that time Hitler supported him total help against British rule. So he was working on the Azad Hind radio there in Germany, Berlin, with several Indian languages like Hindi, Bengali, English, Telugu, Tamil, and Afghan language like Pashtun. So Azad Hind radio was operated from Berlin there, and after that he left Germany with German submarines, and then with Japanese submarine, and then came to Japanese occupied Singapore, where the more than 80,000 Indian troops, the Indian prisoners of wars was from British Indian Army was there, for whom Japanese were defeated. Japanese defeated British Indian Army that time, and they preserved that prisoners of war in or outside areas of Rangoon in Singapore. On this day, on 21st October 1843, Subhash Chandra Bose became the Supreme Commander of Indian National Army. He decided, or he named that army as the Indian National Army, with flag hosting, with his full-fledged government of Azad Hind government, Indian national government that time, and he became the Supreme Commander of it. That time the Indian National Army was the only army in the world having the combat ladies or the combat women battalion called as Jhansi Ki Rani battalion. So with the help of Japanese, he trained the army, his army, Indian National Army, and then Indian National Army started moving towards India for the counter of British rule, to counter the British rule. He came, Indian National Army came from Myanmar to Assam border, and touched Indian land on March 18, 1944. So after that, in India that time, Gandhi and Nehru became the total opponent of Subhash Babu, and Nehru once said also, if his army and Subhash Chandra Bose came in front of him, he is the one who go there with sword, and he was, if the time comes, then he would be the first who will attack on Subhash Babu. This is the thinking of the first Prime Minister of India against the national leader, who was the first front line fighter for the Indian government, or for the freedom of India. Let it be. Then afterwards, Japan surrendered, and the Indian National Army left with their back support, because Japanese were supporting them. Japanese were providing them air force, or we can call them planes, or Japanese were providing them various weapons. Indian National Army that time surrendered against British, and the all soldiers of that Indian National Army were prosecuted as prisoner of wars, because they were, being an Indian, they were not at all supported by their own country. They were not at all supported by their own country members, or their own brothers and sisters from their own country. So this is the one of the most tragedy happened in Indian history, or the Indian independence history. So after that, there is a theory in Indian government that he was died in plane crash in Saigon, Taipei, in Taiwan, September 1945. But as far as my readings are concerned, I read 2 books of author Anuj Dhar, and I have met him several times, or I joined his live sessions on YouTube also, or I listened all his seminar on YouTube, or the proofs, or the facts he presented there tend me to assume that, or to believe that, Subhash Chandra Bose was not died in 1945. He was alive after 1945 and he died in Faizabad, UP in 1985. So this is one of the most shocking story. If this story comes out totally, then according to him, the Gandhi position